Welcome back to Splashpage. I'm Andrew, and we just got to see the first two episodes of Season 3 of Righteous Gemstones on HBO, or HBO Max, or just Max, or whatever they're calling themselves right now while you're watching this video. And it was phenomenal. There's not a single Danny Bride television product that I've watched that I haven't enjoyed. This is no different. This, coming out a year after Succession started, is kind of like Succession if Logan Roy gave the business to all of his children and they were all even less serious than on Succession. It's actually a really fun show. So let's dive right into Season 3 and see where we're at. We'll start with the main Gemstone family. Eli is trying to retire, trying to do some fly fishing and get out of the business, but he keeps getting dragged back in. More on that later. Jesse, Judy, and Kelvin are trying to run the family business, the mega church. They're not doing so well. Well, to be fair, they got big shoes.
Big shoes. Big shoes. Big shoes. Big shoes.
But Eli's been doing this for a million years, and they're not up to par yet. So they get called in to the ministers and told to prove that they can trust in them and end up in a shoe-throwing fight.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Judy was out on tour, and while out on tour was cheating on her husband BJ with her guitarist Steven, and is caught by her brothers, who are so far keeping it a secret. She feels a lot of guilt. She's trying to buy off BJ without telling him why she's trying to buy off BJ. She's trying to gaslight him a lot and make him think that the thing that he didn't know happened was his fault. Kelvin and Keith are running a children's program where they buy up sex toys and burn them in the backyard in a bonfire in a plume of toxic rubber smoke. They're shutting down sex stores, but really they're just buying stuff from sex stores. They're really just helping out these small businesses so far until the end of episode 2 where they come in and just start breaking stuff up. We'll see where that leads. But we've also got a new side of the family, which is when I said Eli is trying to stay retired, he keeps getting dragged back in. His sister, Maymay, shows back up. First episode, flashback about 20-something years to a monster truck show, and Eli's sister Maymay beats Amy Lee with a wrench before being smashed by a car. So here are some of the things we have to think about this season. Who was driving that car? We don't know yet. Did they mean to hit her? Was that on purpose or was that just luck? What did Amy Lee do to Maymay and her family, whose last name I believe is Montgomery? Because as Maymay's beating her with a wrench, she said, "You ruined this. You ruined our family. This is your fault. You did this." So we still have to look forward to what was it that Amy Lee did that put Maymay and her family in such problems. And what were those problems? Was it not letting them join the megachurch? But the megachurch hadn't even really started yet. I think it was just getting started at that point. They had just started selling beer or monster trucks, and Amy Lee wasn't too happy about that. But it was something prior to that. So was it marrying her brother and then bringing him into the megachurch business? That's probably it. Because she was the performer, her and her brother, Uncle Baby Billy, best named character in television, Walton Goggins. Her and her brother were kind of the showmen who had the dance troupe when they were younger, or the dance show when they were younger. So Maymay married Peter, I believe his last name is Montgomery, Peter Montgomery, who's running a hardcore Christian prepper compound. And their kind of Christianity is much different from Eli and Amy Lee's. They're more Waco versus megachurch. So maybe when Maymay married into that, I believe her name is Mary, Maymay is a nickname. I believe when Mary married into Peter Montgomery's family, became a little more hardcore, and thought that Amy Lee and her brother, who had the big megachurch vibes, big megachurch energy, and married her brother, pulled him out of that hardcore Christianity, Waco, Texas kind of feel, and more into a megachurch cell religion kind of feel. Maybe that's how she felt the family was ruined. But right now it's still up to theorizing. We don't know yet. Peter, played by Steve Zahn, does run a Christian prepper compound. Their kids, Chuck and Carl, I believe their names are, ran away from Maymay when Peter got out, which I'm assuming Peter was in prison. So we'll find out, but I'm guessing Peter got out of prison, went back to his compound, took his kids, and it gets messy and ugly there. He cuts off the ear of a man after they get raided by the feds to try to get his children to admit that they told their mother where they were staying. It's not a pretty place, and the kids run off and escape, run back to their mother's hotel, who calls Eli out of retirement. He has his grandson, Gideon, the stunt driver, drive him to the motel, and then the stunt driving training pays off. We have a full-on Hal Needham crazy car chase scene at the end of episode 2. Absolutely beautiful. And Eli decides Gideon can continue to drive for him. He's run off with his 2 nephews, Chuck and Carl, who are his sister Maymay and her husband Peter's kids. So that's where the family's at right now. So this is what we have to look forward to the rest of the season. What did Amy Lee do to Maymay's family to cause her such pain that she'd chase her down and beat her with a wrench? Will Dusty Daniels, the famous race car driver, come back to the Gemstone megachurch? I don't think they're getting Dusty Daniels back on their side, but how are they going to deal with the Simpkins? They've already beaten the crap out of the eldest brother. We'll see where that storyline goes. The Smut Busters are still wandering around burning dildos. So we'll see what happens there. Again, Kelvin's storylines always seem to be C or D level stories where they're just kind of happening in the background and don't really have anything to do with the show. So that'll probably just keep happening as kind of a weird off-center comic background to a he's the comic relief of a comedy show. Also, we have to figure out what's going on with the Men of the Cape and Pistol. What kind of society is that, and how is Eli going to use it? We got to keep an eye on Judy's relationship with Steven, the man she cheated on BJ with. And will Steven murder his whole family to be with Judy like he said? And we need to figure out who called in the raid on the Brothers of Tomorrow's Fires, which is the compound run by Peter. And will the Gemstone children keep their megachurch and get the ministers on board? And how many of them will they have to brain with a shoe to do it? The way this show is going, I could only imagine. We've got a megachurch family that's already beaten and murdered and stolen and robbed. They also have Zion's Landing running, so we'll see what's going on over there. I have a feeling that'll just be a background kind of thing. I don't think it'll come up much. That was more last season's thing. And they'll just kind of be like, yeah, we got it over there, and drop it. So this season, the big bad villain is the Simpkins, I suppose, and the rest of the ministers who hold the keys to their church in their hand that I guess could all just back out and find another church to go to, and that's the end of them. So we'll see where this goes. This could go full-on Succession vibes. If you haven't seen Succession, I won't spoil the ending of that for you, but it could have a similar vibe towards this ending. That was a comedy drama, heavy on the drama. This is more of a comedy, heavy on the comedy. So I don't think it'll go the same way as Succession, but that would be insane. And we'll see what happens come this Sunday. I'll see you guys there. I'm Andrew. This is Splashpage. Hope to see you again soon. And I hate to say it, but click on one of these boxes. We got other videos, and subscribe and all that crap. And there's the YouTube rigmarole. And I'll see you all next time. Later.